Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is Josh here with E Disarmaments. Got another highly talked about, debated subject to get into today. We got the 1911 and 45 ACP, and then, of course, the new style polymer grip module, and the M17 here, chambered in 9mm. One, of course, being a current military service sidearm, and the latter being a former military service sidearm. So I kind of want to give my opinions on the calibers and the weapon systems that deliver them. So let's dive right in. So first of all, we got the SIG M17 here. It is clear, both these weapons have been checked, nothing in the chamber. This is not the version with the safeties on it, like the military version currently has. It's a 4.7 inch barrel, 8 inches perfectly overall, a 1.6 inch width, and this is equipped with night sights, so we do have that going for us on it. Alright, then we got the Rock Island Armory 1911 here, chambered in 45 ACP as I was saying. This does have a 5-inch barrel. It's 8.54 inches in total length, and as you can see here, the 1911 is 1.3 inches in width in comparison, like I said, the 1.6 here, which does make it a slimmer model. So really, when it comes down to the overall size, especially when you're getting into a full-size 9mm, both of these weapons are pretty similar in size. So when it comes down to just for these two weapon systems, making a decision just off the size, I don't think we have enough to go off of. They're too comparable. So let's dive a little deeper. So first off, the higher capacity ammo in the 9mm in comparison to the Rock Island Armory's only 8 in it. I believe new with this pistol, you get 3 17-round mags and 2 21-round mags, so you do have the option to bump up to 21. However, this is the 1911's pretty standard at 8. Even if we went and got a 45 ACP in one of the newer style pistols, you're still going to have a higher capacity with 9mm. For some people, it's just the unfortunate truth, but that is the way it is. So, moving right along, it's often said the side with the most ammo is going to win the fight. But when you take into, especially for, the average civilian gunfight, I always hear the 3-3-3 rule, and that's, 3 rounds over 3 yards over about 3 seconds seems to be about the average. So with that in consideration, the 8 rounds that are in the 1911 seem to be absolutely adequate. That's enough to get the job done when you're considering the average. So absolutely something to look into there. However, I do like to prepare for whatever I can for as much as feasibly possible. The 9mm does make me feel like I am prepared for bigger situations than that. So it is the almost the driving factor in why I choose 9mm over the 1911. However, the 9mm is going to have twice the rotational velocity of the 45. So what's going to end up happening with that, the ballistics on this bullet, is it's going to cut through the target just more often. In comparison to the 45, it seems to hit and stick. A lot of energy transfer very fast with these, especially with hollow points. So when it comes down to just overall knockdown power, this is going to leave the larger wound channel. This is going to increase your chances of hitting a vital, which I don't think that you should ever. These are only for extreme situations when your life is under threat, so there's not really any other reason to pull a trigger other than when your life is under threat, and that was your only option, was to stop somebody. So, as I was saying, in terms of overall power, obviously the 45 is going to have it. As we kind of keep speaking on ammo here, I will say that for the 9mm, it is a very abundant round, a very abundantly found round. I believe there's probably a little bit more research and development kind of going into them. However, obviously 45 ACP is an extremely popular round, and it's going to be found just as easy. Where I will give 9mm the edge is on a consistent basis, you're going to find 9mm ammunition for cheaper than you will 45. Now, it may be somewhat comparable to you, but in the long run, it is going to allow you to get more ammunition for your 9mm, which in my mind translates to more training, and that's just kind of a double win for me. Of course, with the new style polymer handguns, they are not going to need to be cleaned quite as frequently. Honestly, you can just oil these down and keep going for a good while. When in comparison to the 1911, they are going to need to be oiled down a little bit more frequently. A lot more rubbing metal. You know, of course, rust. More metal you have, more chances of getting rust. So I like to, after about every 500-600 rounds, I like to clean my polymer pistols. And then honestly, about every time I shoot this, I like to have it oiled down just to take care of it. Why not take care of it? Nothing wrong with cleaning them. However, this being the steel, the all steel weapon, it is going to be a little bit more durable. Maybe you need a hammer, but no. Of course, it is going to make it a more durable system. In my opinion, if you were to go spend the same exact amount on a 9mm or a 1911, we'll just say $500, and you were to compare them, in my opinion, I think you'll find the better trigger on the 1911, which is great. I think 1911s are kind of known for their triggers. It's probably the best, in my opinion, the best part of them. However, I'm gonna give 9mm the win on this one in shootability because, again, cheaper ammo, it's a lighter system, and it's got less recoil. So for what I've found, the 9mm, it's a little bit quicker for novice shooters to pick up, and not only just pick up, but start to become proficient with them and even excel. So great starter gun. If you're just now getting into this, I would absolutely recommend 9mm all the way. 9mm is a little bit more consistently chosen for concealed carry weapons. They come in much smaller packages than these two full-size handguns that I'm using as examples today. Even though the 9mm is chosen, in my opinion, a little bit more frequently. As I was pointing out, this is a 1.3 inch in width, and I don't believe, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't believe you'll find a slimmer weapon chambered in 45 ACP than a 1911. There is, of course, the weight difference. In my opinion, this is a much heavier weapon. However, when you consider the additional capacity, like we covered in the M17, once this magazine's fully loaded, it does kind of close that gap some. However, the 1911 is still going to be outweighing the polymer pistols all day, every day. The 1911, for some people, and to some people it's a positive, to some people it's a negative, is really decked out with as many safety features as you could possibly want into a handgun. If you're a nervous person about carrying with one in the chamber, I'm sure 1911 can put you to ease. For me, you got to be squeezing the grip, which is obvious. You always want to have good sound mechanics when you're shooting anyway, so I think that's pretty much step one. But not only do you have to have the grip safety disengaged, there's a slide lock, the safety, the hammer. To me, and I've said it in previous videos, when a critical situation does arrive and you feel like you have to draw, there's just too much to overcome with this handgun, and I know that with training you can overcome about any weapon system. However, for me, ergonomics really comes down to play, and it's actually the same for my brother. When we are firing a 1911, we often trigger this slide lock to where the weapon just obviously freezes up in the middle of firing, so then we've got to disengage and unlock the slide and go back to work. So as I was saying, for me, ergonomics come into play. This M17 fits my hand much better, so that's important. As you guys know, I rarely carry a weapon that has a safety on it, especially for concealment. Again, when it comes to that time and you got to draw, that's just time that I don't want to give up. That's time that's less to mess up on, less to worry about. You just pull and go to work. Keep your finger discipline, and that's all the safety you need. There are, of course, several similarities in the systems. I encourage you guys, train all you can, use both weapon systems, put a good bit of rounds through them, assess what you're doing, what you like, what you don't. There is hybrids between the two. Obviously you can get 1911s chambered in 9mm. There's a crazy more abundance of options out there than obviously just these two styles. So I encourage you, do your own research, look it up, find what's best for you. And I will say, when I pass away, let's say my polymer pistols will just be disregarded and thrown away. 1911s, it's almost like it'll become a relic and passed down to my son and just kept around for maybe generations. So this will always be a classy weapon system. It'll always be worthy of protecting you, your loved ones, and hopefully everyone around you. I hope that I haven't came off too biased. I, of course, as I've stated already in the video, I am more of a 9mm fan. It is what I'll continue to carry. It's just, with everything that we've talked about, those are kind of my driving reasons. Not only just the ammo capacity, but kind of all of it encompasses why I carry the 9mm instead of the 45. This isn't to say that you can't be great and efficient with the 45 1911. I absolutely know there's guys out there who will smoke me on the range with their 1911. They may have to reload a little bit more than I do, but absolutely great shooters out there with 1911s, great shooters out there with M17s. So just get out there and train, guys. Do your diligence. You know, pay attention, like I said, what you're doing, what's going on with them. Work on it. Don't just go to the range one time, say, oh, this just doesn't work for me. This stuff takes time to figure out. It takes time to diagnose what's best for you. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you carry, why you would never carry one of these, why you would carry one of them. Just your general opinions, as I always say. That's how we learn off of each other, guys. And I'm not just here to try and teach and share what I know. I'm here to learn what you guys know as well. Until the next time, keep a lookout for the next video. I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.